And like I said, the thing that you're doing, of course, again, it's back to recognizing who you are. Okay. And Joe's going to mention this in his video. We're going to watch a 30-minute video of Joe, and he mentions this in passing and talking. But he finally, I hear someone else saying this, and he says, "This is not you. Your brain is not you. Did you know even your emotions are not you?" Oh. You know what your emotions are? Chemicals.
Say again.
Chemicals. Do you know why you feel them in your body? Because it's chemicals being released in your body. And where are you feeling them? In the body. No, you feel them in your body. You may produce them from your heart, because you do have neural circuits there, like we talked about, 40,000 of them. But my point is this. If your body right now turns into dust, are you gone? So that's not you. It's when and didn't all your programming and all your brain cells and all the chemicals in your body that make emotions, aren't they all gone? Yeah. See, you shouldn't be controlled by any of that stuff. You shouldn't be controlled by emotions. That's not you. You can create your own. Then you feel them. But if you're being ruled by the feeling, again, what are you being ruled by? This. You're being ruled by this. And as long as you're ruled by this, you're not the creator God that you are. See, what you got to see, and this is what's exciting about this. You are an all-powerful, all-knowing, omnipresent, infinite being. So why are we still victims? Think about it. Why are we still victims? Because we don't believe it. We don't believe it. And we may hear it in philosophy. You know, we have the philosophy, we may have the knowledge, we're right. We don't know who we are. I can't tell you how, the past week has been transformational to me. I'm at a degree I've never been before. I'm not saying I did it. I didn't do it. I just meditated. And I start shaking when I think about it. I experienced what I've never, I went to a realm I've never been before. My body was so, I don't know how to explain it. I can't. And I'm starting to feel it again. And it's all because through the meditation you're going to hear, and Joe does this at the end. I didn't know he was going to do this. You're hearing a different one today. The one I told you I liked better. Belinda, remember I told you there was one better? And he says at the end, it builds up, and eventually he tells you, you are the divine. You are invincible. And I've said this before, but this hit me about 5 years ago. You know how in the earth right now, scientists and people and neuroscientists are trying to create artificial intelligence. You know what I mean? Artificial intelligence. They're trying to create artificial intelligence. And of course, what that is something that can think on its own and is sentient, can start feeling and knowing and what? That's what this is. You are the body is the artificial intelligence. It is. And you, as a all-knowing consciousness, have the power and the right and ability to program it any way you want. And now, if you don't know that, then you don't know that. I'm sorry. But it's true. It's a
If you
fact.
haven't watched Avatar yet, or recently, I'd highly recommend just watching that just to get that idea in your head. Because that's what I do to myself all the time. If I kind of get frazzled, I'll be like, wait, go into my avatar. I'm in my avatar. I'm
Yes.
not in my actual beingness.
And that was a wonderful, it really was a wonderful
Yeah.
movie. And when he left his consciousness from his human body and went into the and became his conscious, I thought, that's it.
Became into this.
See, this is just an artificial intelligence that is actually everything scientists are trying to create. Because this isn't us. This is the creation tool. See? You are an all-powerful, omnipresent, all-knowing consciousness that is expressing itself through a unique facet that no one else can express. You are like a precious gem. Nothing else like you, ever. Every one of you. But you determine if you let your light shine through this crystal. Or are you going to keep a bushel like you learned in Sunday school? Keep a bushel over your candle, you know. You know what that bushel is? Your programming. Your eye is not clear, like Jesus said, so your body can be full of light. All your programming. This is not you. But every time you say, I am, you are proclaiming that it is. And you're proclaiming yourself a victim. You're proclaiming yourself, and you're the creator of your own reality, and you are making it so.
So you're holding yourself in that space too.
That's what you're identifying. Well, you're
Putting a
identifying.
lock on it.
Yeah, you're identifying who you are as that. So that limits you to that. And it's an attribute that you'll never know, or a God will never be. Never. All this is for you to have an experience through. You have a mind, will, and emotion that I call the soul. And the mind, the will is, part to me, is your frontal lobe, because you have a free choice there. If you're in your frontal lobe, you have a free choice, don't you? But if you're in your program, you don't. All you do is react. So with that free will, though, you are that consciousness looking through the frontal lobe and looking at your avatar, looking at your artificial intelligence and saying, I don't like this. I won't be this way anymore. I'm going to reprogram it. Now, are you getting my picture?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is not philosophy. This is not theory. This is fact. And I've been experiencing it. At the end of this, I tell you, I'm just shaking thinking about it. At the end of this freaking meditation, I get up, because he doesn't say to, but it's like I get up, it's like it just going through me, and I finally, I feel like I'm filled up with the divine. It's who I am. Stop trying to act humble. False humility is what it is. And did you know humility like that, people think you're being humble? No, you're still being self-centered, because when you're putting yourself down, who are you still concentrating on? Self, aren't you? If you're putting self down, aren't you concentrating on self? Now, if you're lifting self up, as far as the ego, I'm not talking about who you really are. I'm talking, if you lift this up, you're also talking about this ego self. Are you following me? But if you know who you really are, you don't have to do either one. Because that's what you are. Are you following me?
Right
when you said certain things, it went off.
I wasn't going to do this today, but like I said, I probably thought I'd talk more than I don't know. But anyway, this is a revelation that you are headed towards if you stay on path and on course. And it's like at the end of this meditation, he goes into it and he says, feel the invincibility. Feel the magnificence. Feel it going through you and around you and going out. And see, what I'm seeing is it's going, not only that, but it's just going all the way out to the far reaches of the universe. Because I'm omnipresent now. I'm in no time. Like he talks about. No time, no body, nowhere. You're omnipresent. Then when you get there, you do this meditation, you get there, that's when you start proclaiming and creating, see, what you want to happen in your life. Because you're at your peak, buddy. It's flowing through you. And he does this chakra point or this energy point here is where you speak from. You know what he puts there? A scroll. He uses a symbol of a scroll there to speak truth. What I see there is, in Christian realms, it's called the Rhema. Have you ever heard that word in Christianity? It's when it says God's word, the word in the Greek is Rhema. And it's living, creative word. When you speak, it's creative. And it says the word of God is like a two-edged sword. Have you heard that scripture in Proverbs? Pierces to the division of the soul and spirit, joints and marrow. So, see, if you're just speaking words in your victim self way, it's not a good thing to do, but there's not much power there. You're just suggesting. You're not creating. You're really just kind of. But when you get up to the way I was, and so that's when I started. Everything was coming out. Everything I want created in my universe. And this is the first time, except for when I created my music, I did it a different way. I worked myself up doing a walking and dancing and getting excited with music meditation. And it worked. But it took 6 months. And he says there's a shorter way. It's when you get to this point, like he does, like in this, his people are getting this way. And sorry, that's my phone message. I should have turned it off. People are having instantaneous healings. They're getting out of wheelchairs with multiple sclerosis. Parkinson's disease is disappearing. Because they're doing what I'm talking about here, this type of meditation. Now, I couldn't speak with this type of authority before about it, because I could talk about it, and I've meditated some. I've never had this happen before. And that's why I wanted to share it Wednesday, because I'd had it happen before Wednesday. And I thought, I've got to get this to people. Joe is doing what he is doing with this meditation. We're going to listen to some examples, some what do you call them? Personal testimonies, yeah. Personal testimonies of people that he's talked about, what they went through, what they did, what they changed. And then that's when I thought of Joe and his migraine, And so anyway, but I wanted you to see this, and I want to talk a little bit about that before we did this. But your goal should be every morning. And don't get discouraged if one morning you don't feel as much divine when you wake up, because I didn't this morning necessarily. And I didn't it's about 40 minutes of meditation. I didn't through the first 30 minutes, but I stuck with it. And in my mind I'm thinking, I want this to happen again. It's like I'm going.
Where is it?
Yeah.
When's it coming?
When's it? And then you start going. And it's like, and then I realized, no, wait a minute. That's my avatar. That's I got to get, and I'll get back into it. So, and that's the other thing about focus, like we've learned about. your mind wandering. Don't let that bother you. Don't condemn yourself. Just come back. And if you just keep doing that, pretty soon it'll become natural. You're rewiring. And then all of a sudden you're going to be there all the time. And before you know it, this explosion is going to go off. It was like an explosion. And it finally happened again this morning. It was like, I thought, it's not going to happen today. Anything's going to happen. And then we get to the end, and I'm just, oh my gosh, here. It was like, and I'm feeling, it was like, here, okay. And I just said, take me. It was like, And I don't know if you've ever seen any of those movies where people are hit with this energy field or something, that's what it felt like. It's like, and then what I did is I get up at the end. I'm sitting there usually, and I sit there, do the whole meditation. And I don't wait for it to end to get up. I'm starting to feel it. So I stand up, and he talks about, can you feel the energy or the space around your whole body in space? And when he explains it, he says he's talking about all the way out, like I've shown you, like when your hand's out and your spherical thing. So I get up and I put my hands out, and I just start feeling it, and I start seeing this quantum wave just going through. It's just like I'm serious. It's like that ocean wave of quantum light is just. And he starts speaking. He says, give your heart to it, give your kidneys to it, give all your systems of your body over to every tissue, and I mean, so it's going to every particle, and I'm not just listening to him, I'm saying it, I'm saying, and I thought, it really works when you say it too, with it, and I mean, it's rapture, it's like being raptured, which I didn't know it was really like before. Am I scaring you?
No, let's watch it.
Do it for us so we can watch.
Oh, you want me to do it? Do I?
Chuck,
So,
before we watch that you talked about the two examples of the ones that had raptured and they went through the airport.
yes, I did, and you like that, didn't you?
Yes. Because it kind of gives you a foresight.
Right. Do you want to toast first, or do you want to wait?
Yeah,
Let's do a toast, and then we'll do and I'll tell that story, and then we'll turn it on. I wanted to do a bit of an introduction, so
Kind of gives you a peek into the.
yeah, it does. Getting us all worked up like that.
Well, just really quick. So Wednesday we did the other one, and then I had a cranial sacral session with Michael Lynn that night at 4:30, and that night around, I don't know, it must have been around 9:30 or something. All of a sudden, I was just walking. I wasn't doing anything, but I was just walking, and all of a sudden I felt all this energy start coming up through my body, and it was kind of like it was trying to freeze me, and I was like, oh my gosh, Michael Lynn must have opened up some more pathways for the stuff from this morning going through, because I was just like, and I was just like.
So this was
So I just
on the
kinda
same
like-
day?
On the same day, it was just later that night after she'd done the craniosacral, and so I just kind of like stood there and I just let my arms kind of like wave in the energy, and I just kind of let it fill me up. I know, it was awesome.
You don't like it?
Well, yeah, I do like it, but it makes me feel bad.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
Makes my avatar feel bad.
there you go.
Cheers to awesome creation and creativity and potentialities.
No, to your divinity.
To divinity.
To your divinity.
To our divine.
To Catherine, send you one.
Yes.
She said she'll be here before too.
Can you tell I'm excited?
No,
Yeah,
we could
Yes.
tell that
I'm ready to go to the
Thank
hospital and lay
you.
hands on people. I'm not
Come on
kidding.
over to my house.
I'm
Don't
not-
even worry about going there.
Here, here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all,
That's what I mean.
It's
It's
all on
like-
me.
After Wednesday, I see how
I
important
love
it is
you. So,
to go through those
Super.
extra centers, which we're gonna talk about, and to make them right before.
Yes.
Because from that point on, it's effort.
Yes. And you'll
That's
notice,
what- that's
and
what
you
I
will
thought.
you will notice that from your
You don't have to make it happen, it's
No.
just effort.
here's some new stuff in there. That's I can't think of the name of that.
From anybody
Yes,
right
that
there,
can-
you said,
happening.
That's been happening a lot the past 2 weeks, is that I'll think of somebody or they'll think of me and then the text will go through and they're like, how did you know? I'm like, I'm in the flow, baby, I don't have to know.
You're out there, that's how you know.
If you're in the flow, you're in the know.
Exactly,
Yeah.
I just don't have to know that I know.
That's right. The one story Belinda wanted me to tell that's not in the video, which is really cool. But this one tech guy, he hadn't been to any of his seminars, none of Joe's workshops. He downloaded his meditation from You Are the Placebo, which I have. So he did the meditation, didn't work much, was okay. But what turned out was he had migraines whenever he was around electronic equipment, and he was an IT guy. That was how he made his living. He was an IT guy. So he came across this Blessing the Energies meditation that we're talking about. He only did it, he's just started doing it. And long story short, because I want to get into this, he ended up being able to, he rented a room and with all the electronics, computers, and everything that does it to him, and put on his beats, to do the meditation right in that room. He says, "I'm conquering this," and because it would give him migraines, that he just off the wall migraines, and so for 5 hours, he did this meditation did it over and over for 5 hours, and eliminated his right then. It was like gone. And when he was done, he was right in the middle of all this stuff that caused his migraine, and the migraine was gone. Now, the other thing he got excited about, so he said he was on his way to go fly somewhere. So he's in his car driving along, and he comes to a stoplight. He goes, I'm going to do the meditation. So, because he's so excited, he thought, while I'm doing this, and he did. He was blessing the energy centers, and he didn't shut his eyes. He just focused on the centers, like Joe taught, and watched the light. And if he didn't finish, then the next light he would, So he did this all the way to the airport. Now he had to go through the detector, and when he goes through the detector, they say, "Come over here." He goes, "What? What's wrong? Can we touch the top of your head?" He goes, "Why?" "Look." And there was light coming out of the top of his head that registered. And then he said, "Oh, okay." And of course they didn't see it or feel. And then I don't know if they asked him any other questions. And Joe said this guy did this a couple of times. And so it's funny, Joe tells a story and it sounds like he's jealous. So he goes, "I'm going to try that." This is Joe's defender, So I'm going to try that. So he tells the story when he does it. Okay. Does the same thing. He does the cleansing of the energy things. And of course, if anybody can do it, Joe can do it, Well, so he gets to the airport and he goes through the detector. And guess what? They go, "Come over here." And they point at his chest. And he goes, "Are you wearing a medallion here?
Oh, wow.
Are you wearing something metal here?" And he goes, "No." So his heart chakra, see, the light was just so powerful, they picked it up on the frickin' detector.
Who's flying soon? We gotta test this out.
And I think it's funny, they were flying before they were flying.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, those are good stories. And while I'm thinking about it, I don't know if Charity mentioned it. The other thing I want to start up, and you all can decide, I don't know if we want to do it on Saturdays and Wednesdays, but I paid for both of Joe's workshops. The intensive one, which is 9 weeks, and progressive, which is 9 more weeks. I had done the progressive over a month ago, because since I'm retired, I have all this time. I just go, I want to watch another one. I want to watch it. So I got through them, but this progressive one is after the intensive is the one that really just took off. But I want to offer you all to go through them with me. Because, how many people, I'm not saying you don't have the money, I know you have the money, but what, can travel to Cancun or spend $3,000 to go different places and have a week that they can do it, And I thought it would really be cool if you want to go through these workshops with me. We need to discuss and decide, because there's tons of different schedules here, too. So my offer was going to be, though, because I don't necessarily want to use our Saturdays just for that. I like being able to do others like I did this morning, like some of the stuff I did this morning. So here's what I thought we'd do. You all can decide, I'm sure if you want to do it. I'm still up in the air about making you go through the progressive or intensive first. I've done both, but also when I did the intensive, the first one, it was like I've been listening to Joe so much. I've read all 5 of his books. It was like I know all this. Like the first one, I knew it was like it was all okay. I know this. I got this. I know. But he believes his people need to go through, if you're new, from beginning all the way to the end, because the importance of what he says is that you have to be able to know and perceive before you can actually implement. It really has to be a part of you. And he does the science and all of that because he wants you to believe it. He wants you to the point that you have no question about what's going on here and you're going to do this. So that's why he makes sure you understand. You go through all these steps. Now that I'm going to leave that up to you, because that's a lot of time and a lot of hours. But they're 9 hours each. But here's what I'm willing to do, because you know what? I don't mind watching them all 20 times. Because I'm going to watch them with you again, see? Because I already know from experience, the more I watch it, I'm rewiring. Mm-hmm. And pretty soon, I won't have to even watch it anymore. I'm going to have all of that. And it's all going to be just automatic. It's all just going to be, wow, I'm there and I know. And I want to teach it. I was telling Kelly I had to take my Land Rover in to get service. And this guy, that Joe Fox, was there. And Kelly said she knew him before I went.
Yeah, I'm like 6 or 7.
Anyway, because she has a Range Rover. But anyway, so I got in there. And of course, that was one of those mornings that I had done the meditation.
You were feeling it, huh?
And I got up at 5 o'clock that morning to get there about 8, and I did that meditation, before I went in. And it's like, oh, okay, I better be careful what I'm doing here. But turned out that Joe, he says, well, what do you do since you retired? He opened the floodgates here. So I started talking about what we're doing and the brain stuff, and I'm Dr. Joe and people getting healed and all this stuff. And I didn't know him from Adam, but I could sense he was an open, nice guy, really good guy. And then he started sharing. He says, yeah, well, can anybody come? And I said, yeah. And he says, well, how much do you charge? And I said, well, I don't. I said, it's a free will offering type thing. If you give what you can afford to give, because I don't want anybody not to be able to come to this. And he says, well, let me tell you, I had migraines from birth. He said, when I was 4 years old, I would throw up so much they'd have to take me to the hospital to get hydrated. And I started feeling this, like I was almost gotten tears. And he's always had them his whole life. He's taking Botox shots right now every 3 months. And he's still taking medication on top of that when he's working. And so, and it's like, I'm going, I want to heal this guy. It's like, I can't let him suffer. This is what this has done to me. It's like, now I see people suffering. I can't let that happen. Do you understand what I'm saying when you see it? And I don't know if you have that type of empathy. I don't know if you, but I literally had tears in my eyes when I was driving away to think how much suffering this guy since 4 years old. And so he says, well, buddy, I said, well, give me a call. I said, yeah, you're welcome to come. I said, it's on weekends, on Saturdays, if you can come on Saturday, or, you know. So anyway, I just thought it was an amazing thing, too, now, that the doors are going to open for people that want to do this and want to experience it and that want healing, you know, and want not any longer being a victim. See, that's the big thing to me. Just think of everybody that's a victim right now. And it's their programming. It's that simple. It's their program, and they don't know who they are. All right, I'm going to let you watch this now. I promise. We're going to watch... this is about 30 minutes. If you have questions... Television. Does anybody need to do anything before we start?
You shouldn't move.
A lot of esophageal fall, maybe.
Is anybody pressed for time today?
No, not I.
Not really.
There is no.
What? Okay. What time is it right now?
Almost 2.
Oh, we'll be all right.
And if anybody, I'm just putting it out there, if anybody's interested in doing maybe Saturday evenings or a specific night that you want to do regularly, if you want to put that out to the rest of us, and we can try it.
Yeah, that's what I didn't
So
really
that way
get
we don't
finished.
have 10 different people coming at different times.
Here's what I would like to do, and we can tell Ronnie this when he comes back. Let's say you and Ronnie and Charity and Alan can pick out a time to come. And, you know, if you can get with somebody, or you know, if it's just 2 or 3, I don't care. Say, we're ready to start. Okay, and you keep track of the ones you see. Write it down. I'm in intensive number 1. I've seen week 1. Then you'll say you're ready to see week 2, and you find somebody else that's ready to see week 2, and you can come see week 2. Are you following me?
Oh.
You could do it 2 times a week, 3 times a week. I don't care. And it can be evening, morning, afternoon. I don't care.
So
You
what's
set up,
his
but you have to give me
recommendation on how
enough
quickly
notice.
you go through it?
Do what now?
What's his recommendation on how quickly or slowly you go through it?
Well, if I were you, I would want to do it as closely as possible to tie the stuff together. You don't want to listen to something and come back 2 weeks later
Well,
and
I
listen
think
to another one. Is that what you mean?
No, I get
She
like
was thinking
crazy if
more
I'm gonna
often.
do it. I'll take a week off and just do it all.
yeah.
That's how crazy
I
I
knew
get.
She's
that's
like
what
me.
you were thinking.
And I take
I
a
would just-
vacation to go do stuff like this. you
Yeah.
know.
Well, I don't have a problem with that,
Say
except
small day Saturdays.
what would be and I don't mind.
A bench,
That would be
bench.
better for me too, just knock
Just-
it out on Saturday, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, we
just
could always
take
do
a
it
whole
as a
day.
part 2,
We wouldn't-
if nothing else was going on for you, you know. and
Again,
it's
yeah.
just 2 hours
And
or something.
Again, you'll have to give me enough notice that I'm open, you know. But if you give me notice and I'm open and I don't have any plan, I don't mind you coming over every day and let's do it. But it would be nice if we could get a couple of people to do that, you know, more than 1 or 2 or 3. So this is how I want. This was my first thought when I was going to throw it out. You all decide the pace, when you want to do it. Let me know. Now, do you want to go through all of it? Do you want to go from beginning? All 18 hours. Okay. Do you? Is that what you, okay. Now, I've only got this. There is a deadline. I only have this because it's pay-per-view online. What I paid for, you can't get his seminars. You can't buy them yet to keep them. So I wonder if that's her. There she is. Hey, come on in.
It's like, my girl's here.
No problem.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm leaving my glasses on a little
That's
bit
okay.
longer.
Go ahead and heal her
You
over
got a
there
seat?
while you're there. I'm serious as all.
I know you are.
I love that stuff.
Aragon, saving your seat.
That's what I was going to say. You got a seat saved over here.
Aragon saved me seat.
Yeah, you just got up there.
This is her.
Little earring, don't they, darling?
Oh, look what she brought.
Ooh, look at you.
I didn't make them. Pound of Tone just says they were left over from a party. So
you wanna lay on the floor and work on your
No,
listen, I will.
no, that's okay, it's alright, you don't have to do that.
I know I don't have to, I wouldn't offer.
I'm alright, my head's like,
Right here?
just the whole thing, just the whole thing.
It's gonna blow.
It's gonna blow.
How you doing? You need to put her in a.
Hey, happy belated. Hi.
Yeah, she's green and black and we're green and blue. Or green and brown. Kelly and I are on this one.
I'd say earth tones.
Look.
It's okay, I'll sit.
Well, you need to watch, we're gonna watch this
Yeah,
though.
it's gonna be.
Oh, okay, alright, okay.
There's really plenty of room over here if you just kind of scoot your cat over.
I was gonna say, you could sit on the couch and she could sit right there. All right. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start this. Hope I got everything ready to hear. Hope so too. Well, no. Where's my,
Okay, this is,
where's my,
where's what?
there it is. It's not on right
This is the
now.
beginning?
Yeah, well, no,
What?
this is just on the energy centers.
This is for today's thing, this isn't that whole.
This is awesome.
This is blessing the energy centers.
Okay.
This is really understanding what this is about.
They got to see it Wednesday, because I did it Wednesday. Let me get my, why is it doing this to me? Do you ever can get where your computer, you can't see the arrow? I can't find it.
Yes, I do.
You were just over top of it, cause it was changed, it was
Well,
flipping
I wanna-
back and
Just
forth.
take
I want to go up to the top though and turn the sound up, the volume is what I'm trying to do. There it
You
is.
just
There it
found
is. I found it. Now I got it. Because we couldn't hear it.
So remember, I said that we were going to finish
Can you hear
this
that,
event
Karen? Okay.
with the final meditation called the Blessing of the Energy Centers. And it is the most popular meditation of our advanced community. They love doing it. And when we do our advanced workshops, we start every morning blessing the energy centers at 6 in the morning. That's our game. That's just what we do. Brain waves are right, and we're going to start that day with getting the temple straightened out. Are you with me? So then, all of the work that you've been doing, those of you who've been doing my attention in space, that your nose occupies in space.
The reason that's
Sensing the space.
The reason that's funny is if you've done his meditations from the beginning, that's what he sounds like. And so he's making fun of himself right now. It is kind of funny though.
That your nose is in space. Don't you know that's been training? Because you're mastering two types of focus.
This is really good right here.
Convergent focus, narrowing your focus on matter, and divergent focus, opening your focus to information and energy. You with me still?
He's also talking about there, you're going from convergent to, which means down to particle, and then the divergent is back out to wave. See the field of possibilities. So you're taking and going back and forth, is what he's talking about.
Now, I was raised in a very ethnic family, and ethnic stereotypes from that particular part of the world, I'm talking about my own culture, of course, when they want you to pay attention, they say, tie your shoe, watch the car, don't break your leg, you know. They yell at you, and of course that emergency focus causes you to narrow your focus, right? And then we just learned that's the way we focus, right? Problem is you get stuck like that, and you can't open your focus, your brain gets stuck like that. You with me still? So we know that the hormones of stress narrow our focus, and I'm teaching you to open your focus to do the opposite. Are you with me still? So all the training you've been doing in resting your attention in different parts of your body and the space around your body is becoming aware of those two types of focuses, a convergent and a divergent focus. Are you with me still? Turn the person next to you and explain that.